Professional networking is important, but it can be difficult to do. To reach out to people who you don't know, asking for something in return. In this episode, I'm going to share the mental model that I use and that helps me get over the barrier of reaching out to ask others for help. Also, at the same time, it helps motivate me to give my time to others. This is the Talk to Me PDD podcast, where we talk about all things knowledge work, people management, leadership, and of course, AI. I'm your host, PDD, a tech industry veteran who believes that organizations and technology should serve people. This is episode 63, Networking and the Gift Economy. So why is networking so important? It's a way that we can get learning and mentoring for something that we haven't actually done before. So not just to read about it or study, but to understand what it's really like in the day-to-day to have a specific job or to use a specific skill set, to understand what I need to know to do that job, or what's it going to take to get from where I am today to where I want to go. And it can be sometimes as simple as just reaffirming that you're not sort of crazy about how you're experiencing something, to get somebody else's perspective that they may be facing similar challenges or struggles that you have. Within organizational life, it's often the way that we get things done. Thinking about working through people as opposed to through processes. Yes, processes are important for sure. Um, but a lot of the time, the process doesn't always keep up with the way things actually get done, or it may be a longer route to accomplish what you need to accomplish, or it may not even be obvious what a process is, where you can reach out to somebody and they may be able to point you to directions and steps to do something that aren't actually written down anywhere because they've changed or for whatever reason. Um, your professional network is yours. You can take it with you in a way that you can't a lot of other professional artifacts. We talked a little bit in the past about how jobs can be ephemeral, especially in the current environment with layoffs and things like that. Your professional networks don't have to be. They can go with you with either when you leave, or if people in your network leave and go and disperse throughout other companies or industries. You don't have to lose those connections. And in fact, they can build more connections as they move into other organizations and then can connect you there as well. Um, your professional network is an investment and it will provide you dividends. Um, but investments take work. You don't get it for free. You have to maintain this network and put effort into it. So that's a little bit about why networking is important from a professional sense. So what I want to talk about today is the economics of networking. And a lot of times we think about the world of economics within sort of the market economy model. That's often what people are most familiar with. And within a market economy, you have transactional interactions. You have a trade, two things that are judged to be equal are exchanged, and then you're gone. And it may even be through a market or a store or intermediary. So you're not even necessarily the parties aren't necessarily even interacting with each other. I think sometimes we try and apply the same model to networking, and that can get us a little bit stuck. So do I have an equal offer if I want to get help from somebody who's a more senior person than me to understand about what they're doing? Probably not. I probably can't give them an exactly equal exchange for their time and their experience. So having this mindset of the market economy and having to have an equal exchange can sometimes hold us back from engaging in building our networks and having those interactions. Uh, Something I came across recently, so I'm in the process, not through yet, but reading the book Braiding Sweetgrass, and it's all about indigenous culture and things like that. And one of the things that the author mentions in this book is sort of the difference of the gift economy in some indigenous cultures. And a specific example, and you can think about this, you don't have to be in an indigenous culture, but like if you went and bought a pair of socks at the store versus if your grandmother knitted a pair of socks and gave them to you as a gift. Now, these could be materially the exact same socks, but you're going to treat them differently and have a different sort of mental model about how you approach them. Maybe you don't particularly like the socks. If you bought them, you could just get rid of them, um, trade it, whatever. You don't have to wear it. You could just kind of store it off somewhere. But if they're socks that somebody made for you and gave to you and put care into, you're likely going to treat it different. If your grandmother comes over, maybe you put on the socks even though you don't like them. So I think that was kind of an interesting way to think about and differentiate these two models. Um, Another one is within a market, you're often trying to maximize how much you can get for a given transaction, where that's not really something that you think about in the gift economy. Um, and as I kind of read more into this, I was like, okay, this is really how I think about my sort of economic model of networking and the way that we can give and receive gifts in the professional networking world. Um, so gifts are free in the sense that they're not a financial transaction, but they often have a cultural obligation, like we talked about. You want to honor your family member that gave you a gift, so they're free in the sense of no monetary cost, but they're not free in the sense that there are cultural expectations about how you're expected to act when you're given a gift, and how you sort of respect the person that gave you that gift, or in turn, if you give somebody a gift, what you would expect them to do in return. And it's also a difference in maybe the time between payment, where in the market economy, it's a specific transaction that happens all at once, or maybe you have sort of like a formal um, being owed something if you're not necessarily paying up, but you have a debt that is formally repaid and is tracked. Um, Not really the same thing when you give gifts to people. I mean, you may think about it. If somebody gave me a nice gift for my birthday, maybe I'll give them a nice gift for their birthday, but it's not written down anywhere. There's no record of it. They're not going to take me to small claims court if I don't get them a nice gift. Also, some differences in focusing on the individual as we would in a market economy versus the community, especially in indigenous communities, and how giving gifts can support the community maybe more than it supports the individual. Um, so I hadn't really thought about my approach to networking kind of formally before, but when I read through this piece, I was like, oh yeah, this is really how I think about professional networking. Um, so what's a good mindset for networking? One, realize that you always have something to give. And likewise, others always have something to give to you, something that you can learn from, that you can benefit from, that you can grow from. And it doesn't matter how junior, senior you are, or the person is, there's always something of value that you can get from that interaction there. Um, and this is something that I think you'll see very quickly if you start giving your time to others, especially, maybe they're more junior than you, or they haven't done the role or been through some of the experiences that you've had. Um, you're going to learn a lot from it as well. It's not just going to be a one-way transaction that benefits them. Um, People, often thank you and show respect for doing this sort of thing. But at the same time, it always kind of strikes me as maybe I don't deserve that thanks as much, because I'm getting just as much out of it as they are. But um, it's a great way to start giving of yourself, supporting others, and then you'll kind of realize the benefits and the opportunities to learn from each other. Um, so how do we move from this mindset of this transactional market economy mindset of, to one of gift giving? So I think we have a lot of agency here, and we have to act the culture that we want to have. So we're not necessarily going to go out and change the world or even the entire world of professional networking. But at least I've found that having this approach, and this approach of giving of myself and supporting others, it changes the world that I inhabit, and you end up surrounded with like-minded people that are willing to give their gifts to you without any specific transactional expectations, or that you're giving them something in equal value, but it really builds that community of support, and you end up building a network of people that um, can really connect you into a lot of different things and support you wherever you go within your life or within your career. Um, and the more that you give back and the more that you give to others, I think this in turn, at least for me, is maybe more comfortable reaching out to others who I might need something from, or who have experiences or knowledge or skills that I want to learn from, that I don't have, because I know that the benefits go both ways. It's not just me taking up their time, they're hopefully getting something out of it as well. And I think, in the current digital age and with machine or AI transactions, having this human network is more powerful than ever in a lot of different ways. But just, think about applying for a job and think about the difference between, having to fight through some automated applicant tracking system, filling out all sorts of forms and who knows where it goes and what's happened, versus simply talking to somebody that you know in your network who's connected with that job, who can give you feedback, who can have that real human connection. So many opportunities are much more easily found through a professional network than formal applications and systems. I think this is a huge shortcut that if you can, try and take advantage of your professional network as opposed to going through the harder way. So I encourage you to build and maintain strong networks. We all have something to give. So if you're unsure about asking others for help, just start out giving of yourself, finding ways to give back, to support others. And then you're going to get back so much more than you imagined. And then, have the courage to reach out to others and ask for help and guidance. One of the ways that I like to think about it is you're really honoring them with your request, the amount, of respect that you have for their wisdom and the skills and experiences that they have. So that's all I have to say on networking and the gift economy for today. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Hopefully that'll help you build your networks and have a mindset that's going to give you the courage to reach out to others, and also encourage you to give of yourself, maybe even when you don't have to. So there you go. This is the Talk to Me PDD podcast. If you like the show, please like and subscribe. Support the channel. We'll have the links in the comments. And until next time, thank you.